In the race for the White House, Mitt Romney is telling President Obama, look at your own business record. On Thursday, the Republican nominee-to-be visited Solyndra, the failed solar panel manufacturer that got huge government loans. Jan Crawford is in Los Angeles. She had an interview with Romney that you see only on CBS This Morning. Jan?
Well, good morning, Charlie. We sat down with Governor Romney in an airport hangar. He was in between campaign stops out here in California. It was a wide-ranging interview, the first he's given since he clinched the nomination this week. He said he knows it's going to be a long, tough 6 months ahead. He's ready, he said. And let me tell you what, he was taking on the president. We were pretty tough on the president today, talking about Solyndra, saying it was a serious conflict of interest. Do you think the president was corrupt?
Oh, I think it's a conflict of interest of some magnitude to have an administration and a president take taxpayer money, $500 million of taxpayer money, and devote it to a business which is owned by major campaign contributors. That's a real problem. That's a conflict of interest. I mean, this is not a small number. This is $500 million, $500 million. And in the circumstance that the business were to do well, the president's friends would make a fortune. The taxpayers, however, get nothing. That's not the way that the government ought to be working.
A lot of Americans think that the deck is just stacked against them. We've had the Facebook IPO recently, JP Morgan. Do you think our economic system is fair to the working class, the middle class?
Our economic system, which is based upon free enterprise, is the only system that's ever been shown to lift people out of poverty. This, for me, is about helping middle-income people get good jobs with rising incomes. And the president thinks that the way to do that is to have government make investments and to have government choose winners and losers, or in his case, choose losers. That's not the right way for an economy to work.
But now, when you were at Bain Capital, you chose winners and losers, and some things when you were at Bain Capital didn't work out so well. What did you learn from some of those disappointments?
Oh, I think being in the business world as I was and having successes and failures teaches you a great deal about how business works, why companies decide to locate in one place or another, why they decide to hire people, why they decide to let people go, why it is that the incomes rise and benefits improve, and when they go the other direction, why that occurs. That kind of fundamental understanding, I think the president is lacking.
What grade would you give President Obama?
Oh, an F. There's no question about that.
Across the board?
Across the board. Even
despite the killing of Osama bin Laden?
Well, when I look at foreign policy, and look at his decisions across the board in foreign policy, I look at the fact that he was looking to have a force of American troops staying in Iraq, securing what had been so hard won there with the Status of Forces Agreement. He failed to achieve it. I look at what's happening in the Middle East. The Arab Spring has become the Arab Winter. That's hardly a success. So as I look around the world, I happen to believe that his positions in foreign policy have not communicated American strength and resolve.
So grade on foreign policy?
I give him an F across the board.
And on the economy?
F across the board.
Anything above an F that you've seen with this president?
You know, there's certain areas where I say, look, this was a good thing to do. Getting Osama bin Laden, that's terrific. I appreciate him doing that, and I know he's trying. But having never had any experience in his life in leadership has made it difficult for him to learn how to lead on the job. What's happened in this country is that the people who create jobs have pulled back, in part because of the uncertainty created by the Obama policies.
Of course, voters everywhere we go, Charlie, say that jobs, the economy, those are the issues they care about most. And Romney's really made that the cornerstone of his campaign. He argues that he can turn this economy around. He gave us very specific answers about some of the things that he would do to create jobs in our interview yesterday. Of course, the Obama administration, however, is trying to paint Romney as this corporate raider who cares about profits, not people. That is an issue that you're going to hear over and over for the next 6 months.
Jan, let me come to what the president has been saying, as you just mentioned. How does the Romney campaign defend themselves, and is Solyndra their way of going on the offensive and putting it back in his court?
That is exactly right, Charlie. That's a great question, because as we've seen, this election is going to really turn on the economy, and voters don't think the president's really handling it that well. So they've been going after Romney, calling him this corporate raider who's more concerned about profits than people. And what we're seeing now is Romney's really punching back on that. He's countering it, and he's using companies like Solyndra, where he says, listen, I was a businessman. I had a lot of success. Yeah, I had some failures. But President Obama cares about profits for his donors. He used campaign loans. This is Romney's argument. He used taxpayer loans to invest in companies that would benefit campaign donors. And as he said yesterday, he thought that was a serious conflict of interest. Again, the Obama campaign is pushing back on that. But Romney's showing with this that he is going to fight for this. Some of this stuff that we saw in the primary, he is going to punch back hard when he's attacked.
Jan Crawford, thank you so much.